I hope everybody's doing well.
Yep.
Okay, we're having a little technical difficulties here this morning. Again, just trying to switch over to a new platform, and there's always something going on. Never straightforward and easy, George.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It really never is. Okay. Let's see what's going on.
If I can mention a couple of things,
See?
Lennox.
Europe
is mention a couple of things on holiday today. Markets are relatively on holiday today. Indices that we follow, NASDAQ, S&P, and the Dow are down. They're down over. Well, about 1%. Markets are growing 4%. Well, about 1%. Markets are growing 4%.
All right, thanks, George.
About
1%. What's going on? Any news? No news this morning whatsoever. No red news, anyways. So just wanted to get right onto the NAS first thing here, because we're looking for a specific setup at this time of the morning. Unfortunately, I'm starting right at the open, so it is not the usual
the opening 1, 2, 3 went to completion for me.
All right, so what I'm looking at was the 8 o'clock time, which is right here. So this was the high at 8 o'clock right here. Just going to mark this out, and then the low between that time and 9:30 is here. Okay, so we're looking for price to, I make that a little bigger so everybody can see. So I've got an 8 o'clock. That's the 8 o'clock candle. Yes. And then the low. So that's the high. Okay, the high between 8 o'clock and 9:30. So if I factor in the 8 o'clock candle, that's that one. If I don't factor in the 8 o'clock candle, then the high is here. So that one, I'm not sure if I factor in that particular candle or not, but let's say we don't factor it in. In this case, it doesn't really matter that much, I don't think. Okay, so we were looking for a price to break either the high or the low. So let's see if one or the other will be broken.
What time frame are you on there?
That is the 15-minute time frame.
Okay.
So I'm going to come down to, I just wanted to mark off that time, so I'm going to come down to the 5-minute now. So actually, I'm going to go back up to, I'm going to start at the daily, because I want to take a look at the overall chart to see what is going on, what I think is going on. So again, from the daily, we have a 1, 2, 3 top. This is the controlling move. And then we have this big drop. And we have this move to the upside. So it tells us where we are. We know where we are on the higher time frame. However, inside that higher time frame, we're also in a different situation. So we have a 1, 2, 3 bottom at this point as well. And then we've moved up. And again, it puts us into a similar upside down type affair here. So we're in a 1, 2, 3 top, and we're also 1, 2, 3 bottom, and we're kind of caught in the middle. Interesting. So what would be our expected move from this point of view?
Well, my expected move was down when I did my top-down analysis.
Okay, so from the higher time frame, from the daily standpoint, the expected move would be to the upside. And the reason why is because we have a 1, 2, 3 bottom that's controlling the move. We've moved up, we've moved back down. So our expected move from the higher time frame would be to the upside, to take out these highs up here.
Okay, I reviewed that as a wave 4 up and a wave 5 coming down.
Okay, so I'm going to do this one more time, and then we'll see. So we've got a 1, 2, 3 top here. We've dropped.
Right.
So at that point, we've got a 1, 2, 3 bottom, and now we've moved up. So we have not had a fifth wave as yet. Would that
okay?
Everybody concur? Everybody see? Okay, so if that's the case, if that's what we're looking for, unless we have divergence here with the S&P, then we don't have a fifth wave here, right? So let's see if the S&P did the same thing. It has. So the S&P is also identical. With a 1, 2, 3 top, we've dropped. With a 1, 2, 3 bottom, we've gone up. That puts us into a fourth wave. We would be expecting a move to the upside. If we are wrong, then yes, this will fall. So my expectation is that we should go back up in the long term, at least.
Long term, right.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to the NASDAQ and we'll go down to the 4 hour. So on the 4 hour, this puts us into a triangle on the 4 hour time frame. We're just chopping up and down. See? So we have a 1, 2, 3 top, and we've just swept the lows. So we're looking for a move back to the upside to take out all these liquidity levels. That makes sense?
Yep.
And I hope that makes sense to everybody, because if you can see that, then you have a fighting chance of making some pips in this market. Otherwise, you're just playing blind. So there's our 1, 2, 3 bottom. Here's our move. So again, that puts us into a triangle. So our expected move should be to the upside. Yes, we can come down further in the short term, certainly. We have a low here. That would be our A. This would be our B. Now this whole thing could be our C. So it's possible that we still have a lot more gyrations to go, right? That's possible. We could go up to a D up here and then come back down again. So we just don't know what they're going to do, but that would be the kind of expected move here. So we could take out this low, or maybe we will not take out that low. So it's going to be interesting here to see. All right, so on the 1 hour, we're in this downward spiral here. So again, we can look at it. We've swept the lows, and see my low is taken now from the 8 o'clock to between 8 o'clock and 9:30. Our low has been taken. So since our low has been taken, we can now look for 1, 2, 3 bottom to go back up to take out the high that was formed between 8 and 9:30. All right, so let's keep going down 30 minutes. So if I go back to the hourly real quick, we have a 1, 2, 3 top, and we've come all the way down. So on the 30-minute, we're on our way down still. On the 15-minute, we're still going down. So all this, you see that what's happened? This is what we're expecting. One of the high, either the high or the low to be taken. The low has been taken. So you can see the structure here, and it's a 1, 2, 3, and then they chop it up. A, B, C, D, E, drop it down. And now we'll be looking for a turnaround 1, 2, 3 bottom here to go back up. So that's what's going on. And if that makes sense, that's where we're sitting. So this is an E leg right now that we were in. So looking for a 1, 2, 3 to get out. So it's moving pretty quickly here though. So where is 9:30? 9:30 is right here. And our first gap is right here. I'm marking off these gaps because they're quite important as we move along. So marking off the gaps, we even have inverted gaps from the other side. We got 2 of them. So I want to see these gaps here turn into support. On the way back up, I'd like to see them turn into support that, pushes us up, pushes us off of them. Let's see if that occurs, even these inverted gaps here on this side. Right, so we've got a low, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so looking pretty good here for a turnaround possibility here.
Yeah, we have a new daily low at that low point. And that was a beautiful 1, 2, 3 down that went to almost made 262% down on the 1 minute.
So I've got a 1, 2, 3 top.
Yep.
And this drop. So it looks like we're chopping. We could come back down one more time to take out these lows or not. So we'll see.
Not, yeah.
so let's see the S&P. S&P is basically the same. So looking for another drop here to take out these lows, possibly, I say. We might get divergence here as well with both. So if I look at divergence, there's the 1 minute chart. Let's see, both looking at both of them. I'm expecting another drop to take out the lows. That would be my first inkling here. So they might just do that. Or they might give us divergence. One of these guys will not, and one of them will take out the low. If we should come above and start to do this, then I think then we will not take out these lows. But you can see the S&P is falling.
Lennox, up until 9:30, the volatility was very low. Suddenly, beginning right around 9:32, volatility zipped right up, and it's in the ATR I use is around 30 right now, and that means that you would have a stop at about 45 pips, which is kind of high.
Yeah, that would be, yeah. Yeah, volatility is definitely high. You can see the height of these candles, the wicks, lots of wicks going on, and tails, and so they're really chopping things up here. So still looking for them to drop it down one more time here, and will they do it?
VIX actually jumped up to almost 33. It's just shy of 33 right now. And it was a lot lower earlier. It just popped up at the open time. So I'm not quite sure what's going on because there is no news. I think only a Federal Reserve person was going to be chatting, but that's usually not that relevant.
Acquired another 6,500.
I see Omar's on, but I don't hear him. I don't know if he's there or not. Marquise is with us.
Well, he's muted right now. Omar is muted.
I've called everyone else, but I called Peter. I requested him to join.
Yeah.
But he's not answering us. I called Armin. To join.
I did not get any messages from Peter this morning.
Okay, we're coming down now. You can see that they're trying to take the lows as I'm expecting. So yeah. Let's see if that will happen. So yeah, no Peter. I keep trying to get Peter to join, but When you go to your, I don't know if I'm the only one that can allow people to join. I don't know if Teams or if because I'm the host or if you go to the People tab, George, and you look at the list of participants, can you?
Okay, I will.
Can you click on someone to join, or am I the only one that can do it? I'm not sure about that.
Well, let me see. I see that Armin is on the list.
Yeah,
I can tell you that Peter got on the tab doesn't mean too much because it's showing me all the people from Skype.
Yes, when you hover over Peter's name, for instance, do you see a request to join button?
Yeah, but the thing is that Peter said he did get on to Teams. He's on Windows 7, but he said he was able to get on Teams, but I'm not sure because, I was seeing him on Skype.
Yeah, it's fine. You can get on with us if you're on Skype. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
What I'm asking you is when you hover over his name, do you see a request to join button?
Yeah, I'm looking for his name right now.
Or anybody's name, Armin's name, or
anybody
on the
Armin's
list.
Name.
Do you see a request to
join?
You do have a request to join button?
Yeah, on Armin I do, but not on Peter.
Okay. That's all I wanted to know, if you could see a request to join button. Okay. Yeah. So I'm not the only one that can request somebody to join, is that what I'm saying?
No, I did a request to join and
yeah. All right, so we're slowly coming down. I'm looking for either some divergence here. One of these guys will not take out the low, or both of them will take out the low. So we'll see. At that point, I would then look for a 1, 2, 3 bottom to go back up if we can take out the low. So that's
the down movement that we currently have is really reminiscent of an algo move, which would be a very early 10 o'clock move. 941. They usually, I don't remember the last time I saw one starting at 941, but it sure is reminiscent of an algo move.
All right, we're just about, we're very close to breaking the low. It looks like the S&P is going to break the low first. It did. And both of them.
There we go. We just got, just went down to 262% on my 1, 2, 3 top on the NAS.
All right,
and we have a new low at 18,049 on the futures.
This would have been a reasonable play from up here to the downside for that move. However, yes. I wasn't positive that we're going to break that low, so I hesitated about taking that short. However, what I'm really looking for is the 1, 2, 3 bottom to take us back up, or so then going short on that move down. So I'm looking for a longer play here. So look like we're getting a nice setup now. So both of them, we don't have any divergence, so we're looking for a turnaround move back to the upside. So here is my first opportunity for a play early morning here. So
yeah,
see if I can take advantage of this.
We are solidly red on the indexes from Thursday's close. The highest being the NAS at 1.57%, the S&P at 1.45%, and the Dow at 1.37% down. So one has to be careful of this move, but wow, my gosh.
Yeah, well,
the volatility just shot up again. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I'm trying to tell you what's going on, but I missed my opportunity for entering at that point. I was a bit too slow. So I wanted to go in on the fractal right there, but I was too slow entering. And the reason why I was slow is I really thought that perhaps we would get a little bit of a pullback down below this low here, but they did not do that. So I hesitated for a moment. So now I would be looking for a retrace back in. So this is the expected move. We've got a 1, 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a 5. So our expected move is that we'll get a 1, 2, 3 here to go back up. So this should not be a surprise. It should be something that's expected. So let's see if we can. We've got a gap forming right now. Let's see if we can come back into that gap and get an opportunity. So we've got a change of character right there. We're looking for a retrace back in, and for that entry, if we can come back into this area, we should. I would expect, but there's no guarantee of that, of course. This would be another expectation that we should come back in here. So we have no gaps on this side. Just this one big gap right here. So a pullback would present a great buy opportunity here. And I'm doing it without using a limit order. I'm just going to go with a market order. Should come back to around the 50% mark, which is right in the middle of that gap. Very interesting here.
Yeah, I drew my 1, 2, 3 on the tick chart, and it almost touched the 0% point. I'm expecting it to try to do that, which, if you're on you're not on the future, so.
Okay, we're right at 50% now, and I'm going to take the trade at that point.
Yeah, you hit the 0% point for me.
Right, so my stop placement is my stop line. My stop now would be crucial because
you're going down further.
Yeah, they dropped it a little lower, no problem. Gonna get a little bit of a drawdown there. My stop placement be below the low of the red candle there, quarter of the way into the wick, which I could be taken out on that, but let's see if that holds, and we get a push back to the upside at this point. Don't really want to move my stop. They took me out, so they've come back down quite a ways more than I would have expected them to come back. So I'll try again to go back in.
Whoa.
I'll try it again. All right, now my stop placement will be below the low this time. All right, no problem. Let's see if we get it this time. So if they're going to get me, they're going to get me below the low, but I don't expect them to take the low. So here we've got a sweep, and then a 1, 2, 3 now. I thought we would be good at around 50% retrace area, and then we would bounce, but they went much lower. They went down more than like 79% area here. So
yeah, there's almost they hit the 79% area on my 1, 2, 3 on the tick chart. So I'm out at this point.
I wouldn't expect them to take this low, but that's certainly a possibility still. Because they've come down so far. they could just spike it and take out that low, take everybody out. So I'm just like a tick below that low, and it looks like they might take me out again, and they did. So the unexpected, two unexpecteds, and they're taking me out. Interesting. All right.
Yeah, they're trying. They just took out the low.
All right. So they've swept the low again. So that tells us then that this was not the fifth wave. It was the third wave, and then this was the fourth. So this was 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So very sneaky on their part, and you got to give it to these guys. They are good. So looking for another fractal here to enter. So I'm trying to enter it on a fractal. I could wait for a 1, 2, 3 to form and go, but I'm going to try to go in on the fractal again to reduce my risk. All right, so I'm going to try again. As soon as I get a fractal, we could take the low one more time here. Get rid of this. Okay, so I'm going to go in on that fractal at that point. Again, my stop will be below the low. My risk is completely reduced. Let's see if I get it right this time. Otherwise, there'll be 3 strikes in a row, and it's 3 strikes. Okay, so they're not complete. They haven't completed it to the downside. Okay, so 3 strikes. I am down and out. All right, I'm going to up my ante here a little bit. I'm going to increase my lot size. Going to go back in again. So we've got some inverted gaps now and lots of gaps coming down. Let me take a look at where we are overall on the 5 minutes. So we're still very weak here on the 5 minute, 15 minute. Where are we heading down to is the question. So this was on hourly, can't see anything on the 4 hour. We're coming down. It's possible they're heading to take out this low. That's still a possibility. The low on the 4 hour, the lowest low on the 4 hour prior to where we are is right over here. So that puts us down to this 4 hour gap here. So that's a possibility. That's quite a ways down. So I really don't see that occurring at this point. That would mean that we are in, this would just be a 1-2, and we're still heading way down, which I don't really see at this point. So I'm kind of still looking for a turnaround move. So far we've got a 1-2, and this is our 3, this is our 4, so we should be basically done at this point now. S&P is still falling as well. We'll go up to the daily for a quick look. So I've got all these, let's see, the weekly. On the weekly, there's a weekly gap. That's the one that's marked first, right there. There's a weekly gap right there. Interesting. This is the one that's current. That's the closest one right now is the weekly gap. Could be touching that momentarily. And then below that is a 4-hour gap. We're still dropping. Okay, everybody's quiet. Are we still hearing me?
Yep, I hear you.
Okay, good. Because
I took the down trade and made 21 handles.
Okay. Yeah, it was. I wasn't positive that we're going to take out that low, so I didn't want to take the down move. However, we did take out that low, and we're dropping quite a bit here. So it's not a bad play to the downside after all. So it didn't look like we would be going very far below that low, but we certainly are.
Yeah, and we're now we're at the 10 o'clock algo.
Okay, so we're into the weekly gap now, and midpoint of that weekly gap is way down here. So I'm still expecting a turnaround move here, but they've certainly gone down quite a ways here. How is Bitcoin doing at this point in time? Let's see and just take a quick look at Bitcoin's also dropping quite a bit. Now, last night Bitcoin was up. Had quite the move to the upside from last night.
Oh, it's dropped. It just made a big drop right now.
And now Bitcoin's turning back to the downside.
I tried playing Bitcoin on my demo account this weekend, and I'm convinced I don't know how to play Bitcoin. When I had one lot in, I got $100 dollars out of the thing, and it looked like it was the top, but I said, boy, it probably could go further, and I looked away and it dropped down to zero.
Yeah, it moves very quickly.
Yeah, I just know I don't understand it that well. By the way, I've been playing this NASDAQ on the tick chart, 255 tick chart, which is roughly equivalent to, I think, your 5-second chart. And it did work to the downside, but
so I have to look at this in a totally different way here, because it seemed that we had a clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move, and then we would make this move. And they said no. They took out the low. No. So now it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. But now our 5 has gone way elongated, so that nullifies that count.
But that's the second 3. You've got a 2, 1. Well, 1, 2. That's the third 1, 2, 3, isn't it?
Yes. So that's saying, really, in essence, then that the whole thing is a 1, 2, 3 top.
Exactly.
So if this whole thing is a 1, 2, 3 top, then we're heading way, way, way down.
Yes.
Which is not good. Not good at all. So can I be that wrong at that point in this count? So I'm going to go back up again to take a good look at this entire move from its high and see where we are. So I still can't even see the top here. So there's our high. So there it is. So there's our controller. And then we get this drop. That's our fourth. And then we're now getting this just drop to the downside. So we've swept the lows. So this is our fifth wave. We're coming down into the weekly gap. So we are very close to a turnaround here. So I'm not seeing that as a large 1, 2, 3 top that I painted earlier. So we're just in that fifth wave. We should be very close to the bottom still.
We made a new low.
Based on our structure here, we should be very close to a bottom, but they looks like they're gunning for this low over here, which is certainly a possibility here. So either they're going to take that low out or not. And maybe the S&P will have divergence on its low, and you can see that would be so, because these two are so far apart. And you use a see the difference in the angle of the low to the high, the lows to the lows, I should say. Oops, wrong one. There is quite a difference between the NASDAQ and the S&P. So it's possible that NASDAQ will take out the low from the 1 hour time frame, and the S&P will not, because there's such a difference in distance. So we could get some divergence, NASDAQ taking out that low. So we're not very far away from it, when I'm taking that low on the NAS. I'm talking about the hourly low.
Lennox, I went up to the 1600 tick chart, and you know, I'm seeing the trades that I made were really very good, and we're looking again at the third 1, 2, 3 down, which is, you know, like a new bigger 1, 2, 3, but it's looking now like we may be turning around. I'm still not positive yet, but you know, it's trying to whisper that kind of stuff.
Well, we're right at, that's quite the drop. Wow.
Yeah, 17.
Certainly not expecting that, but it was a definite possibility, because it pointed out from the higher time frame that we could come down to that level, but I didn't think that we would do that right away. So they've done it quite quickly. All right, so can we turn around at that point, where I'm on the 5 now, on the 1 minute? Do we get a turnaround at this point? It still doesn't look like they're done. We're right at very close to the midpoint of the weekly gap. So
no, I would say they're not done yet, Lennox.
It's a possibility. So we have two considerations here at the top. We have either a 1-2 like that, another 1-2, and then we're dropping, or this whole thing is a 1-2 and we're dropping. And if it's the whole thing is a 1-2, then we've got quite a further drops to come.
I'm in a wave 3 on down on my 1600 tick chart.
Now that we're midpoint of the weekly gap, we could certainly get a bounce here now. We could get a bounce back up, but that could be short-lived, and we could still continue down. So very interesting Monday morning here.
Oh,
and we're in the algo. We are definitely in the algo at this point.
But it was an early algo, actually. Boy.
Indeed, it started at the macro. Macro time kicked in, and then we started this drop. I should have stayed in bed this morning.
We are definitely dealing with a down market now, so I would say that any up move is a counter trend move as I look at it.
Yeah, it would seem so. See Bitcoin again. Bitcoin's in a very choppy state of affairs here. So another push up, and then we'll be looking for another drop back down. So the question for Bitcoin is, do we come back up to take out these highs or not? That would be kind of an expected move, but it's a bit outlandish because it seems that we'd be messing up our structure quite a bit if we did that, but that's what would be expected at this point, when we come back up and take out that high and then have a fall. So is there enough oomph on the 1 minute time frame for that? Certainly does look like they're aiming for those highs. These are nice moves on Bitcoin here. There's a clean 1, 2, 3 bottom, that nice move to that level. We get a 3, 4, another nice move up to 5. So on the way, we get an ABC, and then we're moving back up again, looking to take out these highs again. So very clean looking moves on Bitcoin. So I might have to jump into Bitcoin here to rescue my losses. Really nice moves, really nice setup. So for those watching us on YouTube, not a great start for me here this morning with 3 losses in a row. It kind of ruined my sessions from last night, because yesterday I had some really good plays in Bitcoin. And to start my morning off with 3 losses in a row is not very exciting. But for those on YouTube watching us for the first time, first of all, any trades that we take, this is just for educational purposes. We're not expecting anybody to take our trades. We're just doing this to showcase our 1, 2, 3 method or model or system. And essentially what we're looking for is a 1, 2, 3, which is comprised of a low, a high, and another low. And we're looking for, we call it a 1, 2, 3. And we use the Elliott wave method, Elliott wave system, which calls this a 1 and then calls this a 2 at this point. So in Elliott wave, that's 1, 2, and then we get this move, which would be our 3 at that point, and then a 4 at this point, and then a 5 at that. So that would be in Elliott wave parlance. Okay, so what we're looking for to enter is this 1, 2, 3 at this point right here. And all we're looking for is a retrace between points 1 and points 2 to point 3. And that retrace is a 50 to 62% retrace area. Okay, so that is essentially all we're looking for. So for example, right here, this would be our 1, this would be our 2, this would be our 3. And we're looking for a retrace of about 50 to 62%. In this case, 50 to 62% looks like it's be a little lower on that one. 50 to 62% is the sweet spot area. However, because we're playing with probabilities, it doesn't have to come into 56 to 62%. That's the ideal, and that's the most probable, but it can be lower or higher than 50 to 62%. But most of the time, it will come in the 50 to 62% region area. So that's basically all we're looking for with our 1, 2, 3. So if we can spot that and you can get in, you can take the move up, and the move up can take us up to a level, and we look for 1.618, which is our usual Fibonacci target. That's basically our system, our model. So this move here, if I put the fib on this move right here, here's my 1, here's my 2, here's my 3, and I look to go to 1.618. 1.618 would take us to that level. So that would have been a nice trade. That looks like about a 2 to 1 or more, a little over 2 to 1. In this case, 2.618 was not at the question, so 2.618 would have been a reasonable target as well, and that would give you about a 3.5, 4 to 1 almost, 3.5 to 1 risk to reward on that move. So not bad. So this current one here, if we look for 1.618 on that move, let's do that. Let's go to 1.618. So 1.618 would take us up to this level right here. So that would be a reasonable target for this move. And that's our trade. Our retrace here, however, is not 60. It looks like about 38% retrace. We can use the fib retracement tool to give us an idea of what that retracement is. And yeah, that came about 38% retrace on that one.
Looks like we're in a wave 4 now on the tick chart.
Yeah, I can see that the NAS is struggling now. So if I go to the NAS here, it's kind of just gyrating around. So we're stopping right at, if I go back up to the weekly, we're stopping right in. Let's go to the daily. We're stopping right in that weekly gap, the 4-hour. That's that weekly gap. We're right at midpoint of the weekly gap. We have not taken out the low of the hourly as yet. So the low over to this side, we still haven't taken that out. So we are getting no divergence at this point, but with the S&P, but we're certainly looking like we're slowing down a little bit here, right at the midpoint of that weekly gap. But no trade right now. It's not one for us to turn around and go back up at this point. So it's more of a wait and see here. So we could still go further down. So again, if this whole thing is a 1, 2, 3, which it looks like likely, then we could gyrate in here for a while and before we fall again. Or they can just take it straight down, take keep going. And that looks like what they're doing. So, all right. So I
got out early on this. It would have hit my first real target.
We're sweeping that low. Heading down further now. We're heading further down into the gap, and we're looking like they want to take out that hourly low. As I was pointing out earlier, that they, I did say that they could take that low out, because remember, we're inside. If I go up to the 4-hour and we look at this, we're inside this triangle. Like that. And if this is our A, B, and this could be our C, and they could take that low out. So I really didn't think they would. I thought maybe we would get a bounce here and go up, but certainly incorrect on that. So here they go. They've taken out that low now. So we're getting some divergence at this point because S&P is way up, still way above that low. So the difference is quite pronounced. If I mark that low, you can see the difference is quite a bit on the S&P.
And it's looking like we have more down to come.
So there's our low. And we have this huge gap. And I'm using the low to create the gap, because that means that entire gap has been taken out except for this little piece here. So we're breaking that low now. I think we have broken that low. Let's just see. 17,800.2, 17,804. Yes. So we've broken that low now. All right. So would they be coming down to midpoint of the gap, or is that enough for them to just sweep that low and turn us around? And that's a possibility at this point, that we could be just turning around after a sweep. But
I'm still seeing more down move on 3-minute chart. and 5-minute chart.
Well, this is quite a ways to go down to. We're almost touching the next gap down. That's the 4-hour gap, and then midpoint of that 4-hour gap is about 640 to 800. Wow, to 800. 100, and we got 160 handles to that midpoint here. That's quite a drop if that would occur. Yeah, this is quite interesting here this morning. How far Bitcoin went up here. So we did go way past our 1.618 target and all the way up. So that would have been a nice entry on Bitcoin at that point. And that's as simple as it is. We're looking for that 1, 2, 3. We jump in and you could take profits off at 1.618. You could take profits off at 1.414, 1.272. You could take profits off at 100%. So you've got a number of areas you can take profits off. You can take partials, you move your stop up. Well, you've got all kinds of different ways of playing that move. So the key, of course, is to be able to see this 1, 2, 3, know that you're at a low area, support area of some kind, and be able to pinpoint that move and catch that 1, 2, 3 on the retrace and move to the upside. So now I'd be, once this move is over, which it looks like we're very close to it being over, I would be looking for a 1, 2, 3 top to come back down. So can we catch that in the 15-minute? Okay, so they've really gone much further than I thought. So at this point, let me get rid of all this stuff now. Right, so I didn't really expect them to go way back up and take out those highs as yet. I thought maybe we'd come back down one more time, but they're not coming back down one more time. They're just going straight up. So, all right. So I noticed Bitcoin does not take out the fifth wave, does not give us fifth waves quite often, George. So that's one of the things that's very tricky about Bitcoin. So here, this is a great example of it, where we get this 1, 2, 3 top here. So when you have a 1, 2, 3 top and you get another one, or you could say the whole thing is, then you get this drop. So we would be looking for them to take out this low.
Yeah,
right. They did not. They did not come back down. You thought maybe they would do that, take that out and drop again. They said no, they're not doing that at all. Once they break this number, our number 3 point here, our 1, 2, 3, then all bets are off that we're going to be coming back down. So, so I noticed that this occurs quite often on Bitcoin. So it's one of the tricky things about Bitcoin that's a little unsettling, because it's not doing the expected, but it also does the expected. So it's more trickery, because here we had the expected move. We had our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what we would expect. So it's very, very interesting the way they do that. So let's see. Here we had the expected move. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. We would expect us to go up and take out this high, and that's what occurred. So here we had a 1, 2, 3 top. We come down. we would expect them to come down, take out the low. They do not. So it's very tricky. Very tricky. So it's a lot of different ways you look at this, that, you know, and this is what makes this very difficult to play or to even explain, because at this point, if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then my expected move is A, B, C. So this is correct, but it's very difficult to explain that to someone when you're looking for 5 waves here. That
Right.
You're looking for them to take out that low, but it's actually an A, B, C move. So that low does not have to be taken. And that's why we get the 1, 2, 3 to go. So very, very, very tricky there. All right, so let's see what's NASDAQ. NASDAQ is just sideways again, eh? We dropped into another sideways. So I'm still not seeing any opportunity for a turnaround move yet.
That's the problem I'm seeing too.
I'm still quite a ways away from that. We're almost touching the gap on the 4-hour. We're very close, so I would expect them to come into the gap, take out these lows. At that point, we make this bigger. Okay. So again, I have a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 drop. A little bit of a
I can easily see another 100 points down is the problem I'm having. 100 handles, you know what I mean? Because it's just not giving up on trying to turn around.
Well, it's interesting that Bitcoin is so strong and the NAS is not. That's very interesting because usually they're going in tandem.
Yeah. Our VIX is up to 33.5.
Let's see what the US dollar looks like this morning. Didn't look at the US dollar. So US dollar on top, it's basically neutral right now. Euro US dollar below. Euro is down, a little bit down to neutral. So the expected move on the US dollar would be another move to the downside.
Yeah, the dollar is very, very weak, which is a bad sign. I mean, if this economy is doing what it should be doing, the dollar should be going up.
So that's quite the move on Bitcoin there since last night. So this is a clean looking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We get that structure, and then we go right up into a 4th wave here, and then get another 1, 2, and then we're pushing out. So very clean. I really thought we'd go down one more time here, which is what I was expecting, but they didn't do that, and then we'd get the move. But that's why I was saying I'd like to jump into Bitcoin to catch this move, but they did it very quickly, and taken out. That's our 5th wave. We're looking for a 4th wave now, and then one more move up. So quite the move there. Where are they heading to? Let's see if we can see anything on the daily, because we can't see anything. So now we can see that we're going to these previous daily highs over here. That's the close targets here, low-hanging fruit, as it were, here. An inverted gap over here. So that's where they're heading. So it seemed like, based on the overall structure of Bitcoin, that we would take out these lows one more time before we continued up, but they're really bucking the trend here and heading back up. So here's our high.
Which should mean that the NASDAQ should be doing a similar thing. And
we should be turning, yes.
But it's not. Yeah.
So very, very choppy. At this point, I was really looking for another drop in here to take out these lows. but they're saying no, we just want to go up higher. So it is possible that they can still drop it, yes, but they're going up higher first. If they do that, then it's a more of a catastrophic drop. But so far we have a large 1-2 now. We're heading up, and if that's the case, then we could just continue going up and taking out these highs and so forth. So quite an interesting area here. Once we take out these highs, it'll be interesting to see if we do indeed come back down to take out the lows again. It's a possibility, but yeah.
I've been using 2-hour candles instead of the 4-hour candles that you are using. It's kind of making it easier to evaluate in the overlay system that I'm using.
If that works better, no problem. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same concept, really. It's just getting at an earlier time.
Bitcoin has hit that previous high on the daily. So it's taken out that high from quite a while ago, from April 25th. It's just taken that out now. So there's one left from the March 25th. Interesting. So prior month.
Interesting to see what it does at this point.
So if it's just a sweep of these guys, then we'd just be getting a sweep, and then we would be coming back down. We get, something like that would take us back down to take out these lows, or we would just come back, into midpoint area and continue back up. So one or the other is going to play out. Of course, I'm hoping that it would be this one rather than this one, because that would be quite nasty if they came back down below 75,000 again. That wouldn't be very good for anybody. But it's a possibility, though. See how the weekly looks.
My 5-minute NAS is really beginning to consolidate at this point. It's trying to figure out. It's basically still negative, but it's been consolidating for 3 candles, which is 15 minutes, really. Completed 15 minutes, it looks like, at this point. No, not quite. Yeah, it has. I mean, if this goes down and makes a new low, then we're going down a lot further. And I think there's about 100 points to the new bottom I have of a huge, no, it's more than 100 points, sorry, but 6,000, it's almost 300 points down to the 1 hour.
Certainly a lot of consolidation here. Now we can certainly see that we're just in a
that's what we're doing right
trap,
now.
And we'd be looking for them to take out the lows one more time here.
That's what it's looking like to me, and I'm viewing it on a 5-minute chart. Got a similar pattern that you're looking at.
Okay, so for Bitcoin, I'm looking for a 1, 2, 3 top here possibility to come back down after taking out the high on the daily. Look at it. Inverted gap here. It's a very tempting sell here at this point on Bitcoin, really. reasonable area to sell. Stop wise, it's not such a big stop. But we can wait for a breach of the low here first, and then a retrace, and then a sell. So we can wait for the 1, 2, 3 to form, or we can jump in early and take the risk that they might go up and take that high one more time. So that's still a possibility. So after such a big move here, it's, well, will they turn it around right away and drop it? See if they give me a,
yeah, I'm wondering if I made a mistake getting in now.
in the NAS?
Yeah. I got in on the tick chart. It's trying to go positive at this point. Yeah, I think I made a big mistake here.
Well, we're still gyrating in a fourth wave, so let's see. Yeah, they could go up. They could go up a little bit. They might go up and take out this high first, but then we would more than likely be coming back down again. So I don't know if it's a mistake per se. You're just going to have to be in drawdown. I think Bitcoin has more to go up as well, so that's why I'm a little hesitant about jumping in. Very close to taking out that low, but we could see they could go back up and take out the high here. So this is crucial here. That was a
bummer. I lost that one.
Yeah, well, you're playing in a fourth wave, so it's a tough one.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, they make it look like they want to go, but it's tough because it is a fourth wave, so they chop it up and down, make it look like they're going to drop it through,
and it still might. I mean, you don't know.
I would expect them to, but they're going to move up first, maybe to take, like I say, to take this high out first before they do that and drop. You could mark this high and see if they take that high, which would be an expected move.
There we go.
Marquise, you still with us?
He's still here, yeah.
Yep, I'm still here. Okay. Haven't really taken anything this morning because the market doesn't. Well, from the 1 minute to the hourly, it's really two different charts So I'm just waiting so they kind of make up their mind.
Mm-hmm. Don't see Stacy on our list today either. Let's see, there we go, George. They're taking that high. So that would be the expected move.
Yeah, it looks like we're getting a turnaround.
So now we can see what they're doing clearly now. So that was this is a 1, 2, 3 top. Now they've dropped it. They've chopped it all up, and now they move up. So this would be a sell opportunity to come back down to take out these lows. It would be an expected move there on that. So S&P is similar.
Yeah, but it's may not be finished at the top yet. It looks like it could be, but I don't know.
In the same vein, Bitcoin is they did sweep that low, but they didn't close. So this high is in jeopardy. We could take out the high, continue up. So it was tempting to sell, but I wasn't positive about it as a sell at that point. So when you don't feel positive, it's not a good time to jump in. Got to feel really positive about it. So we could take that high again. Hit that high first time. So looking at this again from the hourly standpoint, 4-hour standpoint, can't see anything. Daily standpoint, finally get to see what they're doing on the daily, taking out the first high. Now they have another high above, so they're more than likely going to take that one. And then we could be looking for a turnaround. Looks like that's what they're possibly doing here. We'll take that high one more time. If not, then we're taking out this low here. So this could be the high, and we come down. But if that's the case, then we can wait for another 1, 2 here to come down. The other possibility also is that they're just tricking everybody and they're putting us into a fourth wave here, and we could see another push back to the upside to take out all these highs. So there's 3 scenarios that's possible here. All right, so we're breaching that low. Right, so they have closed below that low, so it looks like it's a reasonable opportunity for a sell if we can come back into this gap. In the interim, I jumped into NAS to the downside now, so I'm looking for them to continue going down. So far, so good. My stop right there, not too far away. If we can continue coming down to the lows. This would make up for all my losses. Plus, if I can get down there.
Well, it looks like it's turning around on the NAS I got back in a little bit after you did, I think. I'm hopeful that this is going to continue its nice move down now. If we hit the last low, I'll be in very good shape.
Okay, so I'm going to take a partial because I just need to get some of my losses back right away. I'll let the rest continue down. Okay. We have a couple of gaps in here. We got one there and one here. So if we were to come back into the gap, especially a higher one, which is possible, it could add to my position here to come down. So very close. I looked away for a moment, gone.
Okay, I got my first lot off. Almost made back to where I was.
It looks like this could take us a good distance down. We'll put the extension tool on, see where it takes us here. So 1.618 would take me a little further down. Let's go down to that level. A couple grand on that move. So I just missed my opportunity on Bitcoin. I was really hoping they'd go up a little higher, and I hesitated. They didn't go right up a little higher, and so I missed the opportunity for the entry. So we got a nice 1, 2, 3, another 1, 2, 3. Did not pull the trigger, expecting them to go up a little higher into the gap. They did not, because I had two gaps there. One is an inverted gap, and one's a regular gap, and they just touched it. That's all they did was just touch it, and then off they go. So this would be another breach here. So again, I could do the same thing. I've got another gap. So might get a third chance, second chance here to get in. Third chance, really. So once, twice, maybe get a chance here. And that might be my last opportunity to get into this move down. So very, very sneaky on their part to push this market further down. It looked like we could turn earlier.
Yeah,
they said no way. So can I get a pushback one more time on Bitcoin, or did they just go straight down now?
I need a nice push down on the NAS.
I would expect them to break the lows on the NAS, so it's a matter of being patient.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm kind of looking for. I'm giving it a little bit of room on it, but it is looking fair for it. But I've been playing on the 16-minute chart, and it's interesting. So far it's working out, but it's a whole new experience for me.
Okay. Doesn't look like they want to come back. So my initial inclination to jump in at this point with a low risk was really good. I thought that perhaps they might come back and take out the high one more time. That's why I hesitated on that. And then we get the 1, 2, 3 here. So they broke that low, but they didn't close below it. So that's why I thought maybe they might come back one more time. So they did not. Then we get this drop, take out the low again into the gap, but they didn't go as high as I expected, so I missed that opportunity. So now we get one more chance, perhaps, to come back in to the gap and drop. Now we've got 2 gaps, so here's another gap here. So it is possible still for them to retrace into it. Yeah, it looks on the 5.
One more push down. Beautiful. Okay, I'm back in the running again.
Not quite sure that Bitcoin is complete its move to the upside. It's a little disconcerting because we do have a 1, 2 here, and this could just be a 3, 4, and we could go one more time to take out the highs again. So we might not be completely done at this point. It looks like we could certainly fall further, but it's also a possibility that they're faking everybody to go short now, and we could turn and go. These have been very strong moves here, so this is just more like a retrace to continue going up. I'm a bit concerned about it. Let me see on the 15. So we do have quite the gap on the 15-minute here. We're into it. We have to look at all the possibilities here. So 5 minutes, right in the middle of the gap. We could be faking this move to the downside, and we could continue going up.
Okay, I'm back to I got up higher now. 90 handles.
That's great.
So I made back. I almost came back to break even, and I took this move down, and I got back to 90 handles. But very, very volatile market, and it's actually the first time I've been playing on a 1600 tick chart, and it looks like I've got a lot of learning to do.
Again, a tempting sell on Bitcoin, but I'm a bit leery because of the fact, like what I just said, that they could continue going back up to take out the highs one more time rather than continuing down. So yeah, I'm a bit hesitant about jumping into Bitcoin at this point. It's super tempting though to take this sell at this point. A great spot. It would seem that we would be correct if we took a sell at this point, because we should drop one more time to take out these lows. However, from the larger standpoint, we've come back into the mid area of the 15-minute gap, and this could just be a continuation. So it's a little tricky here. You've gone right above those gaps. So it's looking like this high could come into play again. That's our time. Okay, we're almost at the end of our session at 11 o'clock Eastern. Well, time flies, eh? But they've come up much higher than I would have expected. If we were going to continue going down, I would have expected us to turn at this level here to go back down, but we've gone above it. So it's looking like they want to take the high. That would mean we would be heading up if we do that. And so then our gaps down here would come into play. Very tricky one on Bitcoin there. Very slow motion here. Okay, getting a little bit of a move. So it looks like they want to take the high. And so then I would be looking for a retrace back into this. They have taken the high, just a tad. So I'd look for NASDAQ to drop one more time here. For NASDAQ to come down, take out the lows and these lows. Let's see what S&P is doing. S&P is already very weak. So S&P is showing the way. NASDAQ needs to follow suit now and continue down and back down again. So the that strategy where I looked at in the beginning between 8 a.m. Eastern, so 8 a.m. and between 8 a.m. and 9:30 Eastern time. So between the 8 a.m. and the open, where you look for a high and low between that time. Mark off your high, mark off your low, and whichever is taken, then you would look for in this case, this morning we took the low. We would look for 1, 2, 3 bottom to go back up to take out the high. It did not work. So it doesn't always work. And it's all about the structure. Even though the structure looked pretty good that we would have that turnaround to go back up, it didn't pan out. They were planning to go further down in this case. So not always going to work for us.
I've been using that strategy, not so much the same strategy, but more so in like an orb version of it. So where I'm looking at just for using that window as like points of support and resistance, and seeing where the market reacts, and then it usually works as a good point of support or resistance to kind of gauge where the market's going.
Yeah, and that's similar to the Asia session. Asia is 8 p.m. to midnight, and it's a similar strategy you can use as well. 8 p.m. to midnight. Usually in Asia they're chopping it up and down, so you mark out the high and the low, and then whichever one's taken, you go the opposite way. Because what they're doing essentially is they're faking. If they take the low, they're faking everybody to go short, and then they're turning around to go back up and take out the highs. So that's the usual ploy. So we're getting this drop here. I could have added some more here into my kitty, but I decided not to at this point. Just let it be. So looking for them to come down and take out this low and this low. So my target, I've set my target just a tad lower, down to the 1.618 area. So can we reach that low? Maybe, maybe not. I might be looking too far to get down there, but we'll see here how far down we'll go. All right, so we are after 11 o'clock Eastern. So unless you guys have additional, well, it's just you and I, George, and Marquis. So I thought Omar was on, but I haven't heard him all morning. So
okay, well, I was just going to show you the way I did the parallel lines on my 1 minute chart. I'll put it in the chat for you, Lennox. Drawing it now. Chat. Okay, that's the way I drew my time slot. I drew my first line from the low, which was at 9:11, and the high, which was at 9:32. I drew a parallel line, and where that line broke, I started my 1, 2, 3 for going down type of stuff. Which is a little bit different than what you have been talking about, but this is the way I used in the past.
Okay, so let me just see if I can make sense of this here. You've got
the very first line,
this line here.
Keep going. That blue line, the first blue line diagonal.
Yeah.
That's the one I marked off from the support low to the support high.
So what have we got here on the vertical? U.S. Open, and then what's this one?
Oh, I put those in just to mark off. I was going to mark off there's an 8 o'clock one that I marked off, but I actually stopped using them, so I got to take that special. That was supposed to be the special marks of the 8 o'clock to 9:10. Actually, I was using on a 5-minute chart.
So this diagonal, the first diagonal starts at what time? 9.
Let me give you exactly.
It looks like it's around 9.
Well, that one is at 9:11, and it ends at 9:32 on the 1-minute chart.
Right.
And I duplicated the line and put it at the lowest point, and where I get penetration, which is the first large red candle coming down, and now I start looking for my, well, in this case it's the second 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And as you talked about earlier, you actually got in on the third 1, 2, 3, which is equally as important, and that was the one that took off.
Yeah. Excellent.
But that's the way I was doing it. Now that orange line that you see in there is VWAP, which starts at 9:30.
I see. Okay.
And so that's why the trend has been down all morning.
Yes, it has. Indeed.
Usually VWAP you can do for a day or something like that, but I started it at 9:30.
Okay, so it looks like this is going to play out and take out these lows as expected. And
yeah. And I have been playing on the 16-minute tick chart, which is a totally new experience for me. The one I put in the chat was a one-minute chart, but you can use effectively the tick charts, but you got to realize that there's a lot more ups and down movements, as you see in your 5-second, 10-second, and 15-minute second charts, But yes, they work.
All right. Well, on that note, I'm going to call it a morning.
Yes, very good. Thank you, Lennox.
And I'm going to go back to sleep.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Marquis, for hanging with us. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes, sir. And we will catch up to you on the morrow. All right. So take care. Thanks, George.
Have a good. You're going back to sleep, I assume.
I am. I'm feeling it.
Yeah. Take care now.
All right. Bye now.